Finally, you're awake.
Wait, you're here? Where are we?
I left our universe, but they came after me. Now I guess we're both imprisoned by them. Are we free? Oh,
Good. Where are we going?
You are going to
it's there.
the side wall that will turn into a tree. Go in, minus the one.
That should take us back.
Yes.
Shortly after we returned to the home, we heard news that the inner province of Sector 32 had declared independence at Sector 33. Despite claiming the entirety of Inner Province, Sector 33 only controlled a small territory. Sector 32 was suspicious. They had just made a deal that allowed Urab into their territory, and right after, this happened. The deal that Urab had made with Sector 32 quickly fell apart. 32 believed that the separatist movement was supported by Urab, so they blocked them from helping them with the catastrophe at the side worlds. The catastrophe was wreaking havoc on Sector 32's territory, and was projected to spread all across reality. 32 did not care. We would rather all of reality cease to be than to let it be ruled by the untrustworthy, is what their lead diplomat responded with. Urab decided that since they were being accused of supporting Sector 33's movement, then they might as well actually support it. They did agree with it after all. Both sides already had quite rough relations, and this pushed them over the edge. When the neighboring sectors heard the news, they interpreted the situation as Urab invading Sector 32. So they decided that they would also join in to take some territory for themselves. Sector 31 joined first, and began to move into Sector 32's outer province. Sector 1 joined shortly after, moving into the upper province and the lower province. The war had begun. This set off a chain reaction all across reality. Any tension that had previously existed snapped. Sector 8 was the first to fall. It had already been the most unstable, so it crumbled into several regions, all in fighting for control. The neighboring sectors 7 and 9 took advantage and quickly occupied the entirety of 8. Shortly after, 789. It even reached the prosperous Sector 24. They were already the most technologically advanced, and so they began to rapidly consume their neighbors as if they were nothing. Kanjar Malk also did something unexpected. After never having expanded their borders since first contact with the Urab, they started to slowly occupy the small sectors. Sector 32's three-front war also gained a new member. Sector 2 had been preparing for battle for centuries by stockpiling an unnecessarily large amount of nuclear weapons. They literally had entire universes filled to the brim with them. I'd say that's a bit excessive. And now, their time had come. They took advantage of a distracted one, and absolutely decimated them in a matter of hours. Not much changed in 32 itself. There was absolutely zero infrastructure for inter-universal traveling, which made progress extremely tedious. The only ones with an advantage were Sector 32 themselves, which had the portal in their capital that could be used for instant transport to any of their units. The Tiver were able to easily defend the borders using it. They could not, however, get to the occupied units because the occupiers had destroyed the transport points. None of this chaos took away from the fact that reality was slowly disappearing near the edge of the sector. We needed to somehow repair reality before more units were taken by the space outside of our known existence. We did not know how. We needed a plan. The Great had given us the information on how to deal with the catastrophe. According to the message, the information has been left back at my home, deep behind enemy lines. I would have to find a way to get there quickly. Conventional transport wouldn't work. It was too slow and would definitely be intercepted by Sector 32's Tivir. I would have to create a world to connect one of Sector 33's units to my home universe. There, I would find the instructions on how to repair reality. Finally, I would use my original chain of worlds to make it back to the side worlds, where I would restore the barrier of reality and avert the catastrophe. Luckily, I was already experienced with creating worlds after building the entire chain from my home to the side worlds. My first world took me about a year to perfect. After each world, I got exponentially faster at creating. Near the end, I was averaging about 1 week per world. While I was creating the world, my sister was tasked with translating, printing, and distributing instructions on how to create worlds to the units under Sector 33's control. I did not really agree with that. Introducing such a groundbreaking possibility to fully established societies would be chaos, but I had to go with it. In the meantime, I would take one of the old-fashioned Tivir Dark spaceships to Unit 1M3217, where I would start work on my world in order to get past 32's defenses. I just started creating the world like an hour ago. Here's my progress. It's currently limited to a small field of grass in the void, but it should expand over the next few days. I have begun the tedious process of expanding the world. Let me show you. I'm currently working on creating the first planet. The first planet is always the most difficult when creating worlds. You need to make sure it's perfect before moving on. I have finished the base of the first planet. I even started decorating it. As you can see, I added these bushes as an homage to my home, which I'm working to get back to. I have good news. The first planet is done. The others should not take too long. The reason the others are easier is because after having one planet done, you could more or less just duplicate it and change the properties. Finally, the world is complete. I can now use it to propel myself back home. Let's go. Oh, it's so good to be back here. I see Sector 32 left their flag. So much for secrecy. So now where do I... Actually... This seems like a map to... where? Oh, great. I'm not that good at reading this yet. Oh, at least he bothered to translate it. I can see why this information is so secretive. Too many people knowing about this would be dangerous. I know what to do, though. I just need to find a way to get to the edge of the side worlds. For now, I'll return to Base Death so we can create a plan. The plan we created was as follows. The Orab Republic of Parallel would remotely reprogram the Obstanovka in that side world to transport me to a unit past the side worlds. Since there are no units beyond there, the best it will be able to do is take me to the edge of that side world. From there, I would propel myself through the empty vacuum until I reach the barrier of reality. I would follow the barrier until I reached the gap that had been broken into it, and repair it. After I had been given a special spacesuit to survive the vacuum of space, it was time for me to begin the journey to the side worlds. Okay, the unit right after this is my side world. It's right on the edge of the zone, so I must be quick. I need to make it out of here before this place disappears as well.